Canyon Trail. So we're excited about that.
That is exciting. Excellent. Telegraph Canyon, one near and dear to my heart. Lisa Piven.
Sure, I have to figure out how to unmute this. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Thanks.
Okay, excellent. I'm not in Arizona. It's a little colder here in Leadville, about 15 degrees. And
Ooh,
I'm a volunteer for both the City of Phoenix, the Mountain Preserve Park Stewards, as well as the Arizona State Parks and Trails. And I was the fortunate attendee at the Summit for AZ Trails to win in the raffle one night, rent one night, get one night free with pin drop trailers. It was fantastic. My husband and I rented a pin drop trailer last week, went out to Apache Lake and camped at Burnt Corral Campground with the trailer. The trailers have this fantastic galley. You open the back, opens into a kitchen. And between now, just a little blurb for pin drop because they sponsored. They're also sponsoring Arizona Family Campground for Arizona State Parks and Trails. And between now and May, they are having 10%, giving 10% of their proceeds of their rentals to support Arizona's family campout program, which introduces families to the joy of camping.
excellent. They are a wonderful partner for the summit and a great supporter of the efforts statewide. So thanks for sharing. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Estrella with Anza Trail.
Hi everyone, Estrella Simberg here with the Anza Trail. I'm based out of Northern California, but the trail is 1,200 miles long and crosses 5 counties in Arizona. So really great to see some partners here on this call and colleagues. And we have been in our 250th commemorative year since September of 2025. And there's been just some really awesome and efforts that have happened. And since the commemoration through Arizona passed in the fall, we have some recordings and of talks that were given and just so kind of some more like highlights of what already happened in Arizona. And I'd love to share, I can share these links in the chat, but one of those included a bike ride through all of Arizona, the trail in Arizona. This individual did. And another really great highlight is the Archaeology Southwest talks on their on Indigenous trails research. So we'll drop these in the chat if that's okay, Wendy. And just
Absolutely.
always happy to talk and see you all, or with you all and see you all.
Wonderful. Thanks. Liz Krug.
Hey there. Good afternoon. Liz Krug with Coconino County Parks and Recreation. I just wanted to let you all know that we received a grant. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We received a grant from Arizona State Parks and Trails, a trails grant, and we're going to be doing constructing a 3-mile multi-use, non-motorized multi-use trail starting this coming summer. It'll be called the Homestead Trail, and it's going to be a part of the Rogers Lake County Natural Area Trail System. So we're pretty excited about it. We worked for the last year to do a cultural resources survey. We got the grant contract signed by our board, I think back in December. So we're starting to talk with a trail crew, Flagline Trails, and we're really excited to start doing some work out there.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
loves new trails. Yay.
You bet. And secondly, I'll also say our department is working on we kind of launched with financial support from the Arizona Office of Tourism a couple years ago, a website called naztrails.org, and I can drop that in the chat. And our first emphasis was really on the trails in the Lake Powell, Glen Canyon area, so Page, Arizona. And we worked with some volunteers and with land managers like City of Page, National Park Service, and BLM to GPS trails. And we posted 19 of them. We created maps. We shared these maps on Avenza. So that has launched, and we're kind of now looking at a phase 2, still to do some more mapping of trails in the Page area, as well as in the Tusayan area, just south of the Grand Canyon. Yeah.
Exciting. Thanks.
Yeah.
Michael with Trust for Public Lands.
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, I wanted to announce the Trust for Public Land has a technical service arrangement with the National Park Service to help with technical assistance for communities that want to apply for the ORLP, the Outdoor Recreation Legacy Partnership Program. The goal for NPS in working with us to help communities is to front load and get as many high quality applications for that program as they can, so they can invest their $125 million this year in great projects. And those are aimed at communities of 25,000 or more, aimed at equity, where projects have equity outcomes for lower equity, underserved peoples. And the grants can range anywhere from $300 to $15 million. So I just thought that would be worth sharing with all of you.
Absolutely. What a great opportunity. Can you share the link for that in the chat, please?
I will try. Yes, I will.
Excellent. Anyone else? And if anything comes to you, we always leave the oh, there's Matt Nelson.
Hey there, Wendy and friends. Just wanted to remind people that this Sunday, February 1st, will be our 32nd annual meeting, which is happening at the Desert Botanical Garden. Y'all are welcome to hear highlights from 2025 on the Arizona National Scenic Trail, have a couple of very exciting guest speakers, and it's really the biggest event we host throughout the year. So hopefully we will see you there. And like others, I will drop information in the chat.
Perfect. It's always a
Hey,
wonderful
Matt,
gathering.
Matt, you want to get people to support SB 1041.
Correct, indeed. So for those of you that haven't heard, there is a bill in the Arizona State Senate which would appropriate $500,000 into the Arizona Trail Fund. It's having its committee hearing tomorrow in Phoenix. So wish us luck and contact your representatives and encourage them to support it.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Anything else? If anybody thinks of anything while they're listening to our presenter or otherwise, we always leave the floor open for 15 minutes or so at the end of the presentation so that we can catch up. So it's not your last chance, but we're going to yield the floor now to my former colleague, Michael Chappell from the Arizona Trail Association. He's going to be talking to us about veteran engagement. This is something that came up at our 2024 summit as well as at our 2025 summit. And it's something that's been really high on our list of things that we wanted to learn more about. And we're really excited to have some time from Chappy to hear about what he's been doing, and then a chance to ask him questions about ways that we might expand our engagement with this user group. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks for
Take it
having me,
over.
Wendy. Yeah. I'll just jump right in if that's all right and start sharing
Please,
my
yeah.
presentation. Good morning, everyone. Actually, afternoon. Give me just a sec here. And then, Wendy, walk me through what do I
So go ahead
What-
and do your go to start.
present mode?
Yep, go to present mode and then
There it is.
use slideshow
What is that?
up in the upper right.
Upper right. Upper right. Getting like
I'm sorry, upper left.
Upper left.
There we go, my right and left. Use slideshow. There you go.
Can you see that? Or are you seeing all my stuff? I'm so sorry. There we go. Let's continue to share.
There you go. Now we see it.
Okay. Can you see? Okay,
Yep,
sweet. Oh,
we do.
sweet.
It
All
looks
right,
great.
now I'm prepared. And I got my notes here too, so this is great. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you first and foremost for Wendy and the Network for Arizona Trails for having me. Really excited. I wish I could have been back in the live version back in October, but Ironically, I was actually in San Antonio presenting the same material for the Partnership for the National Trail System, and it went as good as could be expected, not having any land managers there because of the shutdown. So I'm excited to share this with you in a more, I guess, conducive environment to being receptive to the potential for expanding your brains a little bit about the why and hopefully the how you can incorporate this into your potential planning in the future for trails all over the state. So my name is Chappy. I work for the Arizona Trail Association. I've been really fortunate to work for them and with them for the past 5 years, trying to figure out what this program actually is. We all knew that veterans were the aim, but it was really about using the model that was already there. And regarding our volunteer program, which was amazing, Wendy and now JJ are still continuing that journey. So the foundation was there. I was really lucky to have an amazing team. I'm a Navy veteran. I've been in Tucson my entire life, with the exception of a little travel in the military, but also our family decided to take a little road trip pre-COVID and see what and if we could do this as far as like have a family, start a family, and live more rurally and intentionally. And circumstances changed, but I was really grateful because of that circumstance. I recognize the value of community, which is kind of going to tie into this program in a minute. But came back home, and as chance would have it, I fell into this program, and really just honored to be a part of it. So, without further ado, let's jump in. So, a lot of people may ask, including yourselves, why veterans? Veterans have an amazing skill set. Out of the military, we are almost rudderless, because unless we're going right into a similar civilian type job, like myself, I was a photographer. You would think that would translate into a job, anywhere, but throw a rock and you're going to find a photographer. And it's just one of those jobs that it's not in high demand. Especially what I did, I was an aerial reconnaissance photographer, so it wasn't really something that could translate well. So unfortunately, the VA and the military in general, they don't give you a lot of tools that I think are necessary for a smooth transition out of the military. However, what we have is that service-oriented mindset. We want to continue to serve in some way. For me, it was going into the medical field. That's a whole nother tangent that I won't get into, but it didn't work out for me. But I've always had this innate desire to serve, whether that meant through the military or through that profession that I, tried to get into. But we are trying to find ways to connect veterans to those meaningful opportunities. And so we do that through those three pillars there, that stewardship, community, and through outdoor resilience, because all of those things combined are going to at least start that process of transition in a healthy manner for those that are recently separating from the military. So what's exciting about this, and difficult at the same time, and I'm sure you all know about the Explore Act and what that looked like over the past few years and under the Biden administration where it was passed. It's sort of in this weird flux. It's now law, but it's not really being enacted. Surprise, surprise. And I don't mean to offend anyone, because this is political in nature, but part of my job, sort of, engages me with our legislators in this fashion, because this Explore Act had a deliberate section within it called the MVP Act. And that was designed to create more opportunities for military veterans and their families to get outdoors, making it easier. And of course, supporting programs like mine that have a impetus to take veterans and their families outside. But of course, just like every other nonprofit out there, we lack the sustainable funding to do it and expand it over the course of, a meaningful amount of time. So right now, where you can see those three chevrons pointing to just under June 25th, that is right now kind of where it's stuck. I'm waiting for that federal, position to open up for the liaison, outdoor recreation liaison job to open up, because that would allow me or someone like me to go into the community where they live. The VA down south here has an amazing hospital which would allow me to go in or someone like me and find other organizations like the Vets program that are doing really good work in the outdoors for veterans and their families. So I won't go over all of this, but this is sort of like the time frame. But we're looking for that full implementation, hopefully by 2027, maybe sooner. I doubt it. It's probably going to be, past the midterms at this point, if not going into the next administration. But I'm crossing my fingers. But this is my kind of a call to action before my actual call to action at the end of this, is that this is something, if you haven't seen any movement on your end as far as funding goes, there is legislation in there that is designed to help programs like this if you're trying to stand up a veteran-based specific program within your own organization. So keep that in mind as we go forward. But it's an exciting opportunity. It's just like a lot of things, it's not quite moving as quick. Surprise, surprise with the government. So what we do, I have an amazing program that's been, built on these three types of engagements. Generally speaking, we do about 12 to 14 engagements per year, not including all the other fundraising and outreach opportunities. I go to veteran stand downs, which, service or address the most at-risk veterans in our community. Even though I don't see a lot of volunteerism or recruiting from those, it's a gesture of goodwill that sometimes, when they're ready, they will have an opportunity to find a program like this. So Veteran Volunteer Work Weekends, or VVWWs, we are taking veterans and their families out on more front country experiences where they get I would call the red carpet treatment. They have, we have an amazing base camp that's usually closer to a trailhead. You can bring out every nicety, every creature comfort you need to make sure that this experience is good for you. And of course, we, as a team, provide amazing meals, campfire experiences, and really where the magic happens is after the workday is done. We have an amazing atmosphere of, it's conducive to, what would be considered a group therapy type session. Even though we don't call it that, I'm not a clinician, but I see a lot of talking at these things at the end of the day, especially after a long, hard day on the trail. It's amazing to see those connections start to form. Part of our programming was developed early on for a more workforce development model, where I would take really hardy individuals that show an aptitude for trail work, that want to, potentially go into a job placement later on, if should it become available. Again, it's not such an amazing prospect anymore with the Forest Service or BLM, but how do we pass this on, right? And so what I'm trying to do here is develop leadership within the field so that they get trained, they get the materials they need to pass this on and potentially work with federal agencies going forward. And those are the Fox Squad operations that we do. I have another slide coming up that highlights an amazing op that we did last year in the Mazatzals. And of course, I talked about the family and supporter type events. And these are more like shoulder events where we are just trying to continue engagement. So between those three things, we are trying to figure out a way and really maintain the program in a meaningful way, but also giving folks an opportunity to join at different levels and what they're comfortable with. So why veterans? I mean, we kind of talked about at the beginning. They are some of the most incredible human beings. I call them romantics. They are the ones that believe in something greater than themselves. They may have joined for other reasons, but like myself, I just wanted to see the world and look good in my dress blues. However, that transformed into something more meaningful because I was in during Operation Iraqi Freedom. I served during wartime and in peacetime, so I saw a little bit of both, kind of pre and post 9/11. And my intention and idea, and of course it came from maturity because I was all of 18 when I joined the military. It became more of a calling, and that in my opinion, that doesn't stop. And so these people have all of these qualities that you see listed here in a work and honestly a job placement identity as well. They want to do these types of jobs, whether they fall right into it directly after serving, which is what we're hoping for. So it's an easier transition, but they also have so much training. I mean, the military invests thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars for each individual that goes through and raises their right hand, all from the training that they get, from the equipment that they receive, and so on. So they all have this strong desire for purpose, is what it comes down to. They're looking for that type of purpose. And what's not, more tangible than seeing the trail transform right before their eyes as they work. So that's why veterans. Now, one of the things that we implemented last year is Operation Freedom March. We were asked by the state, because of the semi-quincentennial coming up, we were asked by the state to partner with them to basically give another opportunity to engage with the trail in whatever capability that they have. And so this has been a slow process, it's been a learning process, but again, I've been able to utilize tool sets that are basically in place already for all the other races that the ATA does every year. And so we kind of transform that platform to give individuals an opportunity to look at a section of the trail, sort of in the same vein as AZT in a day, check it off, do it by themselves, do it with their friends, do it with their family. We are hopefully going to get more engagement, but honestly, just waiting kind of on the state to bring their A game. I know they're incredibly busy. They funded us a little bit for some swag, which is a little bit of an incentivized way to do it, but it is there for the taking should anybody, especially on this call, want to join us. There's a QR code if you'd like to scan that and register, but all this information is on our website as well. But this was just another creative outlet for us to see if we can find more engagement and, of course, introduce folks to the VETS program in the process. So let's move on to last year. 2025 was very challenging, but after looking at everything, of course, we have our annual meeting that Matt just plugged, but it was an incredible year for myself, for the program. I got with Aaron, our GIS guy, to map out where we went throughout the year. But in one sentence, that's it. Crews improved critical miles of the AZT while building veteran connection, confidence, and continuity. And what that means is it's working. You can see those highlights listed there. We're still consistently providing these kinds of opportunities year after year after year. I don't expect it to stop. I expect it to continue and keep growing, because with what limited resources that we have, we've been able to provide these experiences. And as you can see here, the legend's a little covered up there, but our logo represents the VVWWs, or there's volunteer work weekends, and the Fox Squad logo are all of the actual operations where I take a crew between 3 and 4 veterans, and this one's solely veterans. No family allowed on this one, because it's really just about trying to create those opportunities for the veteran community. And they just crushed it last year. We had I think 5 different operations within the state of Arizona on the AZT that just, again, they're ass kickers, but they are an incredible opportunity for that specific type of veteran to hone those skills, to create more resilience within themselves, and of course, utilize the skill sets that we're trying to instill in them. So I promised you a little highlight. Last year, probably one of the most memorable hitches that we had with the Fox Squad was the one up in the Mazat's house. We had 3 people, the ones that you can see there, 3 veterans. It is co-ed, if you will, so it's just kind of dependent on interest from our female community, in case you're wondering why it's just a bunch of dudes. But it is open to male and female. We've had a couple of hitches where it's been a good mix of the two. But this particular event, we actually partner not only with the Forest Service, but with the Tonto Recreation Alliance. And they hauled us in on these incredible, I call them like little monster trucks. They are insanely capable vehicles. We went over, rocks and water, and there at one point I was clenching my butt cheeks. I'm going to be honest with you. And I looked back and I, looked at the rest of the team behind me, and they're just all smiles. And I look at my driver, and he's just stoic, having fun, pushing all these levers and knobs and stuff. And I'm like, this is probably one of the coolest transports that we've ever had. We've had, of course, pack support from the Forest Service and the Park Service as well, which is great to get take some of the load off of ourselves. But it allowed us to not only enjoy the transport in, it took off, I think, 5 miles of probably really, hard rucking with, 50 plus pounds on our backs and, of course, hand tools and whatnot. They brought in all of our water, which obviously is vital for a successful hitch. And then we did, almost 3 miles of really remote backcountry maintenance where we cleared corridor. I don't have my amazing befores and afters on this one, but these guys worked their butts off and really created a beautiful corridor within that cornucopia trail area up in the Mazzies. So really amazing one for the books from last year. The volunteer work weekends, they're all amazing. They all offer something different. Each one, it's a different dynamic, different people, different eras of service, personalities. It's insane how to me that it just transforms every time. I expect one thing, it ends up being another. But generally speaking, what we accomplish on these with the amount of people, this last two hitches of the year for Veterans Day, as well as the last one of the year in December, we had over 40 people show up, both families, and, veterans and their family members. We have a couple of special civilians, which I can talk about it in a minute, about why I allow civilians to come in to work alongside these veterans and their families and kids. Really, it's incredible to watch something go from nothing to something. And in fact, like that last little bullet point, half a mile by hand, so no machinery out there except for those tools that you see in front of you. And the trail is incredible. If you haven't gone down to check out the new Santa Rita single track project, check it out. Half a mile at least, if not more, are there and available to open to the public. And I would encourage all of you to go check it out if you can. But that first half mile within Enzenberger Canyon was all done by veteran hands and veteran families' hands. All right, so lots of information here. I'm not going to go through everything, but this is what you get by just sticking to the vision of this program. This is what we've achieved since its inception in 2020. We're now going into our 6th year. We have more programming on the way, more ideas. There's now new ideas for leadership, but we're looking at continuing this program. Obviously, funding aside, once we establish. And I'm not saying if, I say when, because I really believe that it's just going to take me or someone within this program who had, its lives have touched in some capacity to find that donor, to find that sustainable funding, and then they're going to see this data in which we've collected over the past 5 years that it's working. This is again proof that the things that we're doing with veterans in the outdoors, creating these opportunities, have tangible value, not just to the individuals, of course, who their lives are being touched, but to the public. They can see how much money they're saving, how many people and veterans and their families have been impacted by this, and all while really doing a community service. Everyone hikes. Most of us hike. Most of us engage in the outdoors in some way. And so us being trail people, we know that trails connect communities, they connect people, they connect all of the things that we envision us seeing and wanting to do when we're outside. So this is giving back to the community at the same time as giving something back to these veterans that have given so much to our country. So these are the intangibles. This is more anecdotal, but I got to tell you, and I'm going to try and keep it emotionally level here, because this is where the passion for me comes in. As someone that truly needed the outdoors after I transitioned out of the military, I see what this does to the individuals that come. It's so hard to script this or write this down or make it accessible to the public, because you really have to be there, feel it, see it. I can try and be the storyteller, really try and give an accurate depiction of what this looks like out there, especially around the fire. But I got to tell you, when I see those connections start firing off and I see friends start to create more friends and more opportunities, and the networking that happens within these events, I've seen people, especially the children that come, go from no confidence, not a lot of aim or direction, to having that network, going and being successful, connecting still, being accountable for what they would like to do in life. And I know this seems pretty grandiose, but it's absolutely what this program is. All of that hard data before the previous slide is pales in comparison to what this is actually doing to these individuals. It's incredible. Hard to describe, but probably the most important slide in this whole presentation. These people, they're saving themselves by coming out and trusting this process. They're saving themselves, and they're finding more purpose in their life. Is really what we're looking at doing, and what I see as the program manager. I know this may be hard to read, but I tried to make it so it's a little bit easier. But this was a quote from one of our really longtime veterans within the program. He's an Army veteran. Now he works for Senator Gallego as the Northern Arizona representative or advocate. And he's just an incredible human being. And Derek's quick story here, as you read this, or try and read this while I talk over it. Derek suffered from TBI in the military, and he loved the guitar. And long story short, he couldn't play after suffering that TBI in service. And the first event that I got him to up in Northern Arizona, someone offered him a guitar, and he was really meek and shy and everything. He said, "No, I don't really think I can play anymore." And everyone sort of bullied him and said, "Just try it." And he did, and he picked it up and he played, and not well, but he played, and he felt comfortable and confident because he had his brothers and sisters around him. And you fast forward in time, Derek at every opportunity comes out with his guitar, sings and serenades us as we digest our food. And he's incredibly generous with his gifts, not only what he provides sort of on the political advocacy front, but when he comes out, he shows up strong. He brings that guitar, he brings himself. And that's after one trip. So again, this is another experience where one person their life has changed from just coming one time, who has experienced something really traumatic. And he was true Army, in the field. He was a radio operator, so he had no desire to camp. He was like, camping sucks. Camping for him was in the dirt, in the mud, in the rain. He was pleasantly surprised. So love Derek. He keeps coming back. This year we have Travis Williams. He's a new friend of me. We've only really been acquainted for a few months, but he has not only taken all of the TSI mods. You'll be proud, Wendy. He's done all of the mods this year. And if anyone knows the TSI mods, I'm sure Wendy's talked a lot about this. That's a lot of engagement by itself, just to learn the basics of trail maintenance and design, for that matter. And not only did he do that this year, but he also came out to at least half a dozen general volunteer events, as well as 2 separate volunteer events with the vets program. And I got to tell you, I was a little nervous with him because he really didn't want to be therapized. He didn't want a clinical format. He wanted connection. He wanted brothers and sisters. And now he's hooked. I can't keep him away now. Now he's asking me when the next thing is. So again, this is another example of what this program, what these experiences do, even for first timers. And they see the value in it right off the bat, especially those of us that get down in the outdoors like this. So I want to make this as straightforward and as that there's no mystique around this. Like, this can be scalable. This can be repeatable anywhere. You have to have a few different things, and that's kind of laid out here. But I think the big one is to identify an individual within your own communities that is a veteran. That is kind of the first step here, but also that has a connection, a strong connection to their community. Because you can, obviously veterans, we get bounced around quite a bit everywhere. So if they are natives to wherever you're working, identify them and find them and just try them, draw them in and see if they're ready to maybe step into a role like this. Again, I was right place, right time, and ready for it. But again, these types of mentalities are present and there all the time with servicemen and women. They want to get after it. They want it. They want the hard. They want to embrace the suck. They want to see what their hands and bodies can achieve. It's just part of our DNA. So this is why this program works. And so I talked about this already. This is how it works. Right off of the bat, I had really not a lot of like no one's doing this as far as I can tell. That was at least within my own sphere of influence. And so I reached out first to that vet center and to find out if they had any connections. And based off of that, based on the authentic nature of this, everyone wanted to help that I talked to, and that led to all of these connections that you see here. And this is a fraction of what we have or who we have influenced as well as connected with to partner with. I'm a big believer in collaborating. I think that's how we make this grow, to not be greedy with the networking aspect of this. Because if I do something really well and then someone comes to me down the road that says, hey, I want to do it too, that would be so selfish of me not to share that information. And again, I think I kind of wear my heart on my sleeve with this, but I also think by doing it that way and creating an authentic relationship with these partners, they see that you're in it to win it, that you're not there just for the clicks or the likes, or just seeing it on from a visual standpoint on Instagram or whatever, that this is just some performative act just to get funding. It's not about that. Obviously, it's about the veterans. And if it's truly about the veterans, those entities kind of bleed through the rest of the noise. And as you can see here, these are the ones that I believe are doing it right, doing it well, and really in it to have those relationships with us and continue what we're doing. So all of these things, really create a model, if you will, of partnerships. And again, finding which ones work for you. But I'm always willing to share the pitfalls and the successes that we've had. And I don't think one organization can do this alone, and that the partnership aspect is really the force multiplier. So we're going into another year. Like I said, we're scaling carefully because of the fact that we don't have sustainable funding yet. And that's really, I think, what's created this authentic nature of this program, because we haven't tried to go outside of our lane. We haven't tried to grow unsustainably. We are creating really amazing opportunities. Of course, once we identify leaders in the field, they'll be able to continue to grow. But again, this is like we're trying to to keep the culture that we've created without losing the quality that we're kind of known for now. And I don't want to sacrifice that or mess that up if we do something that is maybe a Hail Mary. We've seen, like, again, 5 years of this, we've seen that it's working in this capacity. And that's just with one person, with the great team, and a great organization, let's be honest, that's well known and well established, but with very little resources in regards to actual monetary resources. So I think we can go across Arizona, through Arizona, nationally. I think, we talked about the Explore Act. When and if that funding comes, again, I say if, but I think it is when, we'll see more funding trickling down to smaller entities like mine, because let's face it, everyone or most of us in this world know about like Team RWB, Team Rubicon. These are all amazing entities, and Wounded Warrior Project for that matter. They are very deserving of funding as well, but it's time to start expanding that sphere so that all of us have an opportunity to make an impact, whether that's through partnership, collaboration, or just having a main line into direct funding. All right, so call to action for all y'all. So you can start your own veteran program if you have that capacity. Again, you can partner. We have all of those resources available to you if you'd like to reach out. I'm happy to talk about it. We all know that probably the biggest funding source, or not funding source, but economic impact for these programs is really, it's about the food. There's my salary and there's all that, but it's so nominal compared to how much we actually spend on food, on all those logistics, but easily fundable in my opinion, because that's a no-brainer. That it's not like you're just asking for money. If you come to, I think, your donors with a plan of action of like, this is how much something costs, and you can break it down even further, it shows them that not only are you prepared to answer those questions like where your money is going, but when you finally see it on paper, you go, oh crap, I can't believe how much food costs these days. All of us know, but I think food is just another love language out there. It shows how that's how we show appreciation and love for what these amazing people are doing out there. Um, Donate where you can, support where you can is what that comes down to. And of course, um, at the state level, Matt talked about the bill going through the Senate. The Explore Act is passed, but doesn't mean you can't contact your legislators about where they're lacking and why is it stalled. I mean, demanding answers is a good way to ignite that conversation. I don't think it's going to see much traction before the midterms, but you never know. Like Derek actually taught me a long time ago, is that when you contact your legislators and you have an idea, and it makes them look good, I mean, that to me it makes the most sense to give them the win. I think is how we put it. Give them a win, especially if they're up for reelection. Give them something that they can actually latch onto and promote to make themselves look good. Because, in my opinion, as long as you can get behind the legislation or legislator, the program ultimately wins in that process. So last little thought. These are, again, all the photos. I just want to say this. All these photos I took throughout the year. These are all from last year that you've seen through these slides. And that's 1 year of 5. And this is like distilled down from thousands of photographs. And it's so hard to depict what this program feels like, looks like, tastes like. I hope you can see on these faces and some of these images how this is impacting people. This is the real stuff. These are moments that are kept forever, not only in my mind, but in my heart. And I truly believe that veterans deserve every available resource out there to them. This is one of many, but it's important. Public lands are there for this, in my mind. They're there for healing, they're there for connection. And so this program is so vital to not only myself. I'm very selfish with this because I need it just as much as these individuals do, but it's building something. It's building these connections. It's building camaraderie. And I truly believe that it's going to save the world. And I know that's, again, a grandiose idea, but this is a program that, in mind, other than serving my country, this has been the opportunity of a lifetime. And until I cannot no longer sustain this myself, my body cannot do it, my mind can't do it, I will continue fighting this fight, continue taking veterans and their families outside. And I thank you all for your time and attention. Hopefully I didn't go too long. There's my info. If you want to reach out to me at any time, happy to share, happy to chat. Just again, thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Chappy. You really have built, I can say from firsthand experience, an incredible program that is not only building trail, but building communities, touching lives, touching people. Open the floor. Anybody have any questions or like to engage in the conversation? Here's your chance.
They're stunned.
They are. They're stunned. Well, that was just so successful. You covered absolutely all the bases there, Chappy. You answered every question they could possibly have. Oh, there we go. Now, Liz, go ahead.
Hi there. So I'm based in Flagstaff, as I mentioned, and we are at Fort Tuthill County Park, but very much adjacent to our park is the Luke Air Force Base recreation area. And so it's only available to people with military credentials, I think active or retired. And anyway, in a sense, like what we partner with them on is really more information sharing. Certainly when projects happen at the park that um, directly impact them and their guests, I would say. But if there's any opportunity for, I guess I would say outreach or in front of this audience, I'm happy to help make that connection, just as a heads up.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm always happy to present like this or go and do I'm up in Flagstaff not super frequently, but there are a few stand downs up there a year where I just try and show up, set up the easy up and table a little bit and just talk to the community about what we're doing. And honestly, it's been somewhat successful just having those organic conversations on scene. And of course, just give me an excuse to go up to Flagstaff. I'll do it.
Well, anytime sounds good.
Thank you.
Lisa, you have a
Wendy,
question?
yeah, Wendy, I think you're muted.
Yeah, Wendy, you're mute. So go ahead, Lisa.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. Sorry, Wendy. Chappy, first of all, thank you for your service. Thank you for
Thank you.
forming this amazing organization. The speech or your presentation was incredibly inspirational and just fascinating. I am not a veteran. I have veterans in my family and grateful for them. And my question is, as a volunteer, I'm always seeking to get others involved in volunteering because there's just so much potential, both for the organizations as well as the people themselves who want to volunteer. So not being a veteran, how would you recommend is a good way to get in touch with veterans to invite them and show them that there's opportunities in trail work and outdoor work and things like that?
That's a great question. And thank you for that. Honestly, I'm going to be crass a little bit, but veterans, they smell bullshit really well. We've already been through those experiences where we're somewhat getting taken advantage of, but also, being in those environments, there's not a lot of room for artificiality. And so that's why we tend to be a little bit more direct. So I'm going to be direct with you.
Mhm.
You need to, I don't know, you said you had family that have served
Yes, yeah.
or
But what
friends.
I'm
Yeah.
hearing
So
is probably there's got to be a person that is a veteran or in the active military to be to be basically the person, the connector.
ideally, I don't know what a program might look like without a veteran at the
Mhm.
helm, but I think
Mhm.
it adds a little bit of authenticity, of integrity to it. We already speak the same language. Already have that credibility, if you will. So I think that it's really helpful. And obviously, letting someone that has served step into a leadership role
Mhm.
is very much in alignment with, I think, why the program is successful. Um, Matt took a chance on me to, begin this journey. And so I was very unsure of where I was going to take this. And of course, all the other veterans and brothers and sisters around me are the ones that taught me what this program truly is and what it means to them. And so I think to answer your question, the first step would be to identify either that family member or a friend that has served, what connection that they
Mhm.
might have to whichever organization that they give back to, if it is in the outdoor space. Maybe find out if they are willing to step into a leadership role and just try to organize one event, see how it goes. But again, making it from a veteran's
Mhm.
voice is super, super important in my humble opinion.
It makes a lot of sense. Appreciate the candid
Yeah.
response. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Thank you. Great question.
Matt, you got your hand up.
Thanks, Chappy. Yeah, the last question was part of what I was going to ask, but I think the next part is, kind of sharing with people if, you say that this project is scalable and you'd love to see other either agencies or organizations engaging veterans in a similar way. So can I ask you just to share your vision? Like if we were to look at Anza Trail or say look at the Bureau of Land Management and some others, like what do statewide veterans programs look like, at least here in Arizona?
Great question, Matt. Veterans are everywhere. We have, according to the last census, which I know is a little outdated, we have, 500,000 veterans that live in Arizona. Not all of them obviously are capable. I say that with the utmost respect for their physical state or mental state, but that's a lot of individuals to pull from. So I think as a state, we have so many veterans, so many, it's a military friendly state, in my opinion. So as you know, Matt, we're limited to one trail. It's a great trail. It's a big ass trail, but there's lots of trails. And I think where I see this expanding is that there are many different pockets within our state that don't transect the AZT, but also could be also, a prime opportunity to go into those communities, to find those pockets, to at least, engage with them and find out which trails are sacred to them, how they're utilizing them. That's where I see, at least in Arizona anyway, and it's probably a national effort as well, that it's really about identifying those pockets of veterans or military installations or members, and then really just getting in there, boots on the ground, and finding out who those individuals are that are willing to step into those roles. But for us as the ATA, we're starting that leadership track this spring. We have 3 people that are veterans that are looking to begin something. And the intention is to have them step into a role like mine where they can lead or co-lead other events themselves, while I am, can also lead maybe a separate event throughout, through this in the state or somewhere else, or maybe there's another speaking engagement like this. But it frees me up to, quarterback other things, but also empower these individuals to step into that leadership role. And of course, the sustainability of the program depends on it. Because if I fall out, what happens? I don't want the program to die. No one wants to see this go away just based on, one domino falling. So I think this strengthens the program overall by offering leadership opportunities, not just with the ATA, but all over the state. And of course, the dream is, the legacy is this expanding to the nation.
Estrella, you have your hand up.
Yeah, just something real quick. I know we're at the hour, so hi, Chappy. Thank you. Thank you for your service and for the presentation. And um, just kind of like a comment, the Anza Trail passes a few military bases in California, like the historic path. So actually, there's a trails like council, like an organization, nonprofit that's working with Vandenberg Space Air Force to um, mark I think, and even sort of develop a trail within the space base, the Air Force base, but it's only available for people living on the Air Force on the base, and military vets. Sorry, military families and veterans that are off the base as well. So yeah, I just thought that was like an interesting thing. I don't know if you kind of have an interest in that in general, that concept. But yeah, just that there's like bases that, yeah, I don't know how that works with families on the base and the services for them, right? But I think that's ultimately like recreation is for them too, and I don't know what life is like on a base, but like that's kind of the concept that this group is going for over at Vandenberg.
Cool. Yeah.
Hmm.
Speaking from experience, uh, base life sucks. It can be, obviously dependent on where you're located. It can be very isolating. I've experienced both, where I was kind of next to a big metro area, as well as very rural in Central California. And
Yes.
yeah, MWR is super important, and it really kind of depends on the individual who's in place, because sometimes they're it's almost like a concessionaire where they're actually outsourcing their
Mm.
MWR. So try to do that with Davis Monson here in Tucson, down south in Fort
Oh.
Huachuca. We've tried to figure out a way to engage with, someone that wants to maybe adopt a trail, or, again, sort of building a network within the base. And there's also the Sentinel landscapes as well. I don't know if you have those or familiar with that, but we can talk offline. But it's a cool concept. It's not everywhere, but if you do
Mm.
have a military installation that has some sort of conservation effort going around there that also serves the public, that's
Mm.
what has been identified as a Sentinel landscape project or area. And so there could be funding. We're somewhat exploring that. It was delayed. We talked about this in the PNTS conference, but since there was no federal managers there, it was really like just trying to connect with the individuals that are looking to fund projects like that. But luckily, the AZT does. it runs very close, to the Fort Huachuca installation down in Sierra Vista, and it's also a Sentinel landscape. So that could be another opportunity in Anza as well. But also, like, yeah, I think it's super important to connect at some level with the military installations to find out how robust their MWR is, if they're doing anything outdoor rec wise, and maybe that's a way for you to jump in and at least provide a flyer or something like that. They wanted me to pay for one at DM, and I was like, this is a free opportunity. I'm not looking to make any money off of this. And so they had a hard time conceptualizing why a outsized resource would want to come in and provide that kind of an opportunity. And it wasn't like I was stepping on anyone's toes. I digress. I think it's really about finding the right person on the right day. And all I can really do at the end of the day is provide the information, and they have to pull the trigger, so to speak, and figure out if it works within their model. But I'm sure in a couple of years there'll be some turnover, and I'll try again, hopefully.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thanks, Chappy. As we said, we always leave it open a little bit if anybody has some ongoing discussion or questions, but we are at our time. So we will go ahead and let people who need to jump off do so without feeling like they have to apologize for doing so. But again, thank you so much, Chappy, for taking the time. It was a great presentation. I think a lot of people were really inspired. We did record the presentation. It will be available on our website if anybody would like to share it out or revisit any parts of it. Or Chappy, if you just want to watch how great you were,
Oh,
it really
stop
was.
it.
It was a fantastic presentation. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Hey, Wendy.
Yeah.